The smart home industry can be a pretty ugly place as companies fight for market share, and instead of doing that, two companies decided to work together in order to create what I think now is the best smart leak prevention system for your home. Not only is that a breath of fresh air for someone like me, and well, you as well, but it's also a smart, locally controllable, connected to voice assistant smart home system that combines the best of what these two companies have to offer. I have shown both of these product lineups on the channel before, and the EcoNet Controls Bulldog valve is a great system on its own. In fact, it's so great and it's so high quality that it has become the de facto recommendation I make for leak prevention in people's homes. However, I did find a couple of drawbacks with the Bulldog, and the first one was the YoLink app. It just didn't give me the best automation features or the best connectivity, and actually I struggled a little bit to get their controller paired with my home's Wi-Fi, at least initially. The other drawback I found was that the leak sensors that were included with the system didn't show up anywhere else. You couldn't see them in the YoLink app, and therefore they didn't go into Google Home or Amazon or SmartThings or wherever else you had paired that system with. This meant you would think that you had a leak, but you wouldn't know where it was, and you wouldn't be able to direct someone right to the leak source when they get into the home. Enter YoLink, which I have shown you on the channel before and has some pretty incredible automation capabilities based off of the technology that they used called LoRa. They have a number of great leak sensors, and I've been impressed with their reliability and the capabilities, plus the different designs of those. They also have a ton of home automation products, including a full leak prevention system like this ball valve with the actuator on top and their battery controlled controller that could connect to this and therefore close the valve anytime you needed. However, I am totally incapable of almost every plumbing job out there, and so that would mean I would either have to pay someone or pay one of you, at least pizza, to come to my home and do this plumbing job. So I didn't love that. Instead of having to do that, these two companies figured out, and I feel like that's because they each had reviews on Automate Your Life, that they could solve each other's different drawbacks. So they got together and created a system that I think is almost perfect if it isn't. The actuator and the whole mounting system from EcoNet Controls is every bit as good. It's really the same product, and it's custom designed and custom fit to the valve or the piping that you have in your home and just your setup in general. EcoNet Controls helps each customer with doing that before they actually send this whole thing to your home. Then it's just 3 bolts to stick this on, and even I can take that on. Then it plugs into the power supply I showed you connected to this actuator over here. I like this approach for a few reasons. And number one, it's battery powered, so I'm not plugging into what is usually a very full plug in my mechanical room. Plus, if the power goes out, which can happen during these kinds of leak events, I'm not tied to the grid. This is still going to close when I need it to. The battery level for that controller shows up in the YoLink app, and I think you're going to get 2 to 3 years easily out of this thing, and actually YoLink tells me it'll probably be longer. I have kind of a drain on that battery because I have literally been actuating this thing just to see how reliable it would be. I personally prefer the YoLink app over the YoLink app, and you know what? The biggest reason for that is some of the benefits that I see with Amazon and Miss A. And what I mean by that is these leak sensors, most systems available today, or at least all the other leak sensors I've seen, cannot act as a trigger for routines on Amazon's system. This means you have to create all these custom workarounds in order to do that. But with the YoLink app and many of their leak sensors, you can instantly create routines that do things like announce that you have a leak in your home with just this and a connection between the YoLink app and Miss A. In fact, and I don't want to get off course here, but almost everything from the YoLink app can act as a trigger in the Miss A system. This is a huge benefit that not enough people are noticing. Anyways, the YoLink app, you would then connect this controller, you'd connect the leak sensors, and you'd connect them all into the YoLink hub. This would be the traditional way you would do things. Then you would create automations like if the leak sensor senses something, well, then it should close your water valve in your home and stop that leak very quickly. For me though, I want things as dirt simple and as reliable as is possible. And this is where the magic of the combination of these two systems comes in. See, right now, if you're using the hub and the leak sensors and all of these different devices all within the YoLink app, then you require an internet connection to have those automations run. It's not locally controlled. That's not good enough for something that is preventing leaks and preventing serious damage in your home, at least not as far as I'm concerned. The internet not being there as a reason your home flooded probably isn't going to fly in your life either. So I'm using one of the best home automation features on the market today, period, across all devices and all systems. So I took the valve controller here from YoLink and I took my first leak sensor and I paired them together. Then I took my second leak sensor and I paired it to this valve controller as well, and I even did a third. You can keep going as far as you would like. That pairing process is called device-to-device pairing, and it's exactly that. All I'm really doing is holding the set button on each of the two devices, and then I get a pretty green light that tells me the two are working together. What this means is the two devices are communicating directly. They no longer require the YoLink app. You don't have to set up any automations. They no longer require the YoLink hub, and therefore no longer require the internet whatsoever. When a leak occurs, this valve controller will cause this valve to close in your home automatically. So what this means is you could buy the Bulldog actuator. Here it's $150 on Amazon. You can order direct from the other companies, and then you could buy this valve controller and a number of leak sensors from YoLink. All of YoLink's devices are relatively inexpensive, and so this is a pretty cheap solution for smart leak prevention in your home. And then you just pair them all together and you're good to go. What I like about that too is if you think about this battery powered solution and the fact that you don't need internet, you can take this to a cabin in the middle of nowhere and stop leaks there if you happen to have water. This is something I can absolutely recommend for anyone, no matter where you are in your smart home journey, because this is a really reliable solution. It's going to be an upgrade on almost anything. The only unfortunate part that I can say about this entire system is that for those of you who own the Bulldog valve actuator already, I know how many of you loved it because I heard about it in the comments, but unfortunately, there's no upgrade path or conversion path at this time. It's just a different system here. So you can't do that. If this changes, of course, I'll let you know in the comments down below. And, you know, being based on this LoRa technology is actually really important too in those mechanical spaces, because this is a lower frequency signal that will be able to penetrate those metallic surfaces and those reflective materials that you have in that space, something that Wi-Fi doesn't do very well. So number one, all of the links are down below, of course, to all of the products you're going to need from these companies to get this kind of a solution set up in your home. Number two, you know what? You probably want to know more about YoLink or the Bulldog actuator here itself. There's a playlist for YoLink up on screen right now, and here's the video for the Bulldog actuator so you can learn more about what they do to really create that custom solution for you in your home. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching today, and of course, don't hate, automate.